Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I hope you're all having a nice 4th of July. I have a movie review that doesn't have, then the movie has nothing to do with the 4th of July. It's Leprechaun Origins. And it was finally on Netflix. And I know my friend Tony Talant reviewed it a while back. And then he went off YouTube for a couple months. And then he started his channel all over again with new videos and stuff. But he did a review of like all the Leprechaun movies and then the Leprechaun Origins. And I thought I'd start with my personal history of watching the Leprechaun movies. And then I'll get into the review of Leprechaun's Origins, which is now available on Netflix. And it came out in 2014. I'll give you more information about Leprechaun Origins in a minute. Well, I remember hearing about Leprechaun somewhere, and it was originally filmed in 1991. It might have been filmed when I was still in the army, but it didn't. It was put on the shelf for like 2 years, and it got released in 1993 through Trimark. And I remember Victoria Jackson on Saturday Night Live was talking about the movie because they were talking. They had some film critic was talking about the first movie to get released for 1993. And someone said something, but she said they're wrong. It was really the movie Leprechaun. And I guess she gave it a free plug. It was meant to be comedy, but I think she gave the movie a free plug. And it starred Jennifer Aniston, who went on it might have been her first starring movie role, but I'm not sure. Because she was in some other shows. She was on Ferris Bueller's Day Off and stuff before she became famous for being in Friends. And like I said, it was made in 91. I don't know if Friends came out. I don't know when it came out. It came out close to 93, 94. Maybe it was used to help, that came out to help make some money because of her success on the show Friends. I don't know. And basically it's about, I've only seen all these Leprechaun movies only once. I don't remember that well, but a bunch of kids and then Leprechauns terrorizing played by Warwick Davis, the Leprechaun. And then and it was pretty good. I saw it on Cinemax, and then I saw I've seen all these on Cinemax. And the second one, played in the theaters too. I thought the second one was much better. I thought the first one was alright. I thought the second one was much better. I liked the second one, Cinemax, and then they used to have like these Cinemax premieres on Fridays. This was a long time ago. In 95, Leprechaun 3 came out, and they were getting sillier and sillier. The first two were kind of somewhat serious with some humor in it, and then they started to get sillier. Like they had, this one was in Las Vegas, and they had like him and an Elvis impersonating posing together. That's the only thing I really remember from the movie, but I liked them. I think I liked the movie. In 97, they had one in space, and then it was really getting silly. They had like a leprechaun came out of a guy's crotch. Yeah, and it was. I mean, they had other horror franchises in space. They had Critters in space. I remember seeing that Critters 4 in space, and they had Jason X, which is probably the best of the three. But I thought Jason X was kind of cool. And then in 2000, they had Leprechaun in the Hood, up to do no good. I just remember him rapping, and they did like an urban horror film type thing with Leprechaun, and then it really got silly. And then they did a sequel, and I only saw like the first 20 minutes of the sequel. I didn't see Leprechaun in the Hood 2 or something, or Back to the Hood or something like that. I only saw like 20 minutes of that one, so I didn't see all that one. And I remember Conan O'Brien was making fun of those movies. They said after the Leprechaun movies, all bets were off with horror films and stuff like that, because they had other stuff like Ginger Dead Man, but that's Full Moon. Full Moon is supposed to be silly anyways. Well, anyways, the one great thing about the Leprechaun movies was Warwick Davis. He had such great personality, and his makeup was fantastic, and his whole demeanor and stuff really helped the series. He was the main driving force between the series. I mean, Jennifer Aniston was cute, but I mean, he was the main driving force between the series and what made it successful. And it went into horror comedy, Now, believe it or not, the last one, that Leprechaun Back in the Hood Part 2 or something like that, made in 2003. And then this came out, it's been 11 years since there was a Leprechaun movie. This one came out in 2014 and was released by WWE. Leprechaun's Origins, and starred Hornswoggle, Darren Postal, or I think it's Darren Postal, that's his name. But Hornswoggle, if you remember, Hornswoggle plays the Leprechaun character. And if you remember, for all the times he's been in, you don't see him that much in WWE anymore. But they always referred to him as Leprechaun anyway, so it's just natural that he played Leprechaun, And this was basically in like another remake. And there's been remake of popular or somewhat popular horror franchises that have been pretty lousy, like especially Nightmare on Elm Street, which was a travesty. That was an awful movie. And then, of course, you got the Rob Zombie's Halloween remakes, and then you got the pretty bad remake of Friday the 13th and stuff. And now you got Leprechaun's Origins. Like I said, it was made last year, and Tony did a review of this like ages ago. And I'm catching up because it's just on Netflix, and Netflix is slow on releasing some movies. And basically, when this movie first started out, it started out pretty good. The first 21 minutes was actually pretty good. I liked it. And they had some great camera shots at first of the Leprechaun attacking, and then they had some great, awesome shots of Ireland. And it looked like they were going to spend some real money on the movie. And they had like these backpacking kids go up to like this one rock formation, said there's these Celtic symbols on them. And they go to this pub. And that's kind of like an old thing where in some of the old horror films, they go to a pub and they're like, usually people are like, you're going to this place like this, but they're really nice to them in this pub. And the townsfolk are really interesting. And this guy said, well, you're in the history. You want to check out this one place? It's like a 7-hour hike, so you have to stay overnight. And there's this cabin that's real close by that you can stay in overnight. And we'll take you down there and all that cool stuff after you drink your beer and stuff, and have your fun here. And they said, okay. So they go down. Oops, someone's lighting off fireworks. Because I celebrated my 4th of July last night on the 3rd. And you hear like someone setting off fireworks already, even though it's still daytime. And happy 4th of July again. And, they leave. They say, well, you guys are all right. And the townspeople, the two guys took off. And basically the 4 lead characters are in the cabin by themselves for like 10 minutes. And then you find out that the 4 lead characters are actually not very interesting at all. At least they're not super annoying. They're just not that interesting. They're kind of boring. The girls are cute, but they're still boring. And guys take off. And then you see like the one guy, the Leprechaun, starting to attack him. And he goes inside the cabin. And they find that they've been locked inside. And they finally escape the cabin. And I don't want to give a lot more away. I mean, there's still a lot more. This is like about 35, 40 minutes in the movie. And they're in the forest. And they might go to someplace out. I don't want to give anything else away. And like I said, the first 21 minutes were really, really good. And then it started to go downhill like that. Especially when they showed the Leprechaun. That's the biggest travesty because he just sounds like a feral animal. He just makes all these growling noise and stuff like that. What's the guy's name? Warwick Davis actually had personality, spoke and stuff like that. Like, I looked on Rotten Tomatoes, and one of the critics said that Warwick Davis's personality and style and acting is sorely missed here. Because basically, a Leprechaun just kind of looks like Voldemort, that one character from Harry Potter, like a real short version of that. And then they start blurring, and they start optically blurring the images because maybe the effects, his makeup effects weren't very good or convincing. You wouldn't know it was Hornswoggle anyways just by seeing him. You barely see him. He's always growling and he doesn't talk or nothing like that. He just kind of tries to attack. And like I said, I told Tony, wish me luck, I'm going to go see Leprechaun Origins on Netflix. And he said, that movie's bad. It's really bad. And he put LOL on there. But like I said, it started out and then it started going downhill, especially with the way they did it. It's not a true Leprechaun movie. I don't consider it official Leprechaun movie. The Warwick Davis was the only one. Just like they ruined Freddy Krueger. Robert Englund was Freddy Krueger. The makeup was great. The makeup in the remake and the guy who played it was pretty lousy. I don't consider it a true Leprechaun film. And the one thing, it was starting to go like, I'd probably give this a 7 out of 10, like a 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, then like a 5 out of 10. When it finally ended, it was like, eh. And then it really made me mad because it's supposed to be an hour and a half. There's like 12-minute, the ending titles are 12 minutes long. This is not Lord of the Rings or The Matrix or like the Marvel movies. The Marvel movies have more to say it right at the ending credits, but they had like a little ending credit and they showed like a little thing from the movie that which you didn't really care about anyways. I mean, it just started. I mean, the first 21 minutes were really good, and then it started getting really cheap looking. They blurred it. Sometimes the things were happening so fast you couldn't tell what was going on. And like I said, it went from like I was gonna sell for 5 out of 10 right before the credits hit. When the ending credits hit, I'd probably give it sank down to 3.5 out of 10. So it's not very good. And like I said, I looked on Rotten Tomatoes. They had 4 bad reviews from the critics. They have a consensus of the critics who liked it, but they had the audience. They said like 12%, 12% out of 100 liked it. It's pretty bad, and Tony was right. And like I said, I don't know if that Leprechaun that was in the movie is based on the original Irish legend, because I grew up with the Lucky Charms Leprechaun, and basically mischievous, and that's what Warwick Davis was, but he was like killer mischievous, you know. And Warwick Davis was sadly missing from this movie, but I don't think he could have saved it, but they would have had to change the whole movie. But the Leprechaun's origins is pretty bad, 3.5 out of 10, and that's about as generous as I can be with the movie. And as far as Irish is concerned, I'm half Irish. Like I said, I don't know if the original legend portrays the Leprechaun as being like that, but I'm half Irish, a quarter English, and a quarter Italian. And my dad was full blood Irish. I miss you, Dad. And we asked our uncle about man Kathy gets a couple of shillelaghs a long time ago. I did two videos about this, but I thought I'd show them off again because Leprechaun is Irish. And this is the small one. They gave us the Irish shillelagh, and then they gave us a bigger one. They were kind enough to get us to us. It has like a 4-leaf clover right there. It has Irish shillelagh right there, written there. And it says the shillelagh in Irish. See, sometimes it's kind of hard to read this. An Irish cudgel used by faction fightings in years past. These sticks were this is written cryptic, so I was trying to read. These sticks were sometimes tempered in stack time, and very often they were rubbed in butter and put up on the chimney where it was left seasoning for months. The Irish shillelagh. So I'm going to hang these back up. They're hung up there with the keys. And I just thought I'd show them to you. I showed them a long time ago back in 2013 before I had any subscribers. But I wanted to give a special shout out to Tony Talant for... He did a video warning me about it, but when I saw it available on Netflix, I could see it for free. I wanted to see it, and the first 21 minutes were fantastic. Very interesting. Then after that, lousy. So I hope you all have a happy 4th of July, and stay tuned for a very... I was going to upload this Sunday night, but I'm going to upload this. I'm going to publish it. I uploaded already. I'm going to publish a fair food review I did very soon in the next couple hours. So be on the lookout for that, which I had last night. So until next time, everybody, have a very happy 4th of July and take care, my Legion.